and like
Why?
irritated, and you get the
So
sweat pimples. You ever get sweat pimples, David, from when your shirt? Because you're working. Yeah,
No,
you work in AC. That's right.
You don't worry about what I work in.
AC has
So
made
do
your
you-
skin soft. Yo, if
We all
you go
make choices
lift
in life,
something
right?
heavy, you would break like porcelain. Skin would rip like paper mache.
Right, we all
Your
make
callus,
choices in life.
you
You
lost
chose to be
callus.
sweaty and shave your armpits.
I will live 10 times longer than you. We'll live 10 times longer than you. I'm going to be 110, jacked and tan.
110. You're
Silver
not
blonde hair. I was
TMO.
just disgusting.
110.
Dude, I'm telling you. Look, I'm Cyclops. I will be fucking Palestinian. I'm going to be, hold on, stop it. I'm going to be Palestinian from here up and then fucking Turkestanian from here down.
You're going to be Ukrainian and Polish.
I don't think
your whole life.
Dude, I'm a white guy. I look black, David. Enough. I'm black for a white person, okay?
You're black for a white person.
People.
You're an Africaner, Ryan.
Been told by blacks. Blacks have told me, David. You don't tell me what the culture told me.
Blacks have told you you're black.
Hip hop speaks through me. Mike check 1 2. Dave Ryan. No,
do you think you could walk into a room full of black people
you gotta
and get away
just
with
trim
the third worst racial slur?
Trim your armpits. I'll get away with whatever. I didn't say the N-word, David.
Third worst racial slur. Do you think you could get away with it though? Because because you're so dark.
No, I would never. I mean, depends on the crowd, David. Depends on what Kendrick Lamar song I'm listening to and in what location said bar is.
I don't suspect.
They not like us. They not like us, David.
Ryan, do you think
they not like us? Dude.
Is it a good day to talk about China?
Shave your armpits. Your body will thank you. It's hot out. You fucking sit in, you weakling. Go outside. You should move your desk outside.
You're
in the
not even
sun,
as strong as an ant, Ryan.
Dave, I'm like millions of ants. I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, at least a billion ants. Look at that.
A billion ants.
At least a billion.
If I were to, we're not going to do this. I was going to say,
how strong's a bit now? Fuck this. ChatGPT.
You want
how strong a billion ants would? Yes.
Versus a gorilla.
I bet you they could lift the pyramids up and find the 7,000 foot fucking cavity with the underground city there, David. Maybe that's why they don't want us to investigate the pyramids, David. They're underground skyscraper. That's where the $70 trillion went. I told somebody about that. They laughed at me, and I'm like, okay, dude. They just kill you with your food and water. You're going to tell me they're not building a city for a solar
Ryan. A billion
I'm
ants.
a billion ants. Come on,
a billion ants would likely overwhelm a single gorilla.
Oh, people have been looking at the gorilla thing wrong. A billion ants or one gorilla, bitch. A billion ants would beat a silverback, huh? See, you don't get shit like that anywhere. I would still beat a gorilla, David. For the record, fuck that. Fuck that gorilla.
You have no chance against a gorilla.
Dave, fuck a gorilla and fuck Voldemort, Harry Potter, Gollum, and Dumbledore.
No
fucking bullshit. I'm going to call Elon. I don't know how they think Gandalf's immortal. How is...
Ryan,
has a fucking elven sword and a fucking magic ring of power blessed by God, and you think a fucking dork with a wand that gets killed by a teenager because he has fucking cancer from splitting half his body from a... This is insanity.
Even worse. He doesn't even have a wand. He's like...
Gandalf has a staff.
Am I right? A staff.
It's a staff.
That's like what people want to say when they have canes, but want to sound cool. He has a cane, dude.
David, that
cane. He can't even walk without a walking stick.
Motherfucker can fly. Why has he got to walk, David?
Apparently, he doesn't walk too well. He should fly everywhere.
I don't know what Harry Potter's gay. I just don't understand the fascination with it. Bunch of dudes with bad wands and speak like a shitty form of Latin.
There's no way J.K. Rowling would allow them to be gay.
Well, just Dumbledore being a pedophile, David? Is that what you're saying? You know, that's why he favored Harry. He probably loved that little mark on his forehead.
No.
Come here, Harry. Let me feel that little bump of that Voldemort scalp.
I don't agree with any of this, Ryan. We're talking about China.
Oh, of course not, David. You just agree with the pedophile island, not pedophile Dumbledore.
Well, they were
first years. There's a video of two gorillas fighting, David. Allegedly, one of the gorillas threw sand in the other eye of the other gorilla. Gorilla beats gorilla.
One gorilla beats one gorilla?
Sand beats
with
gorilla.
Sand beats gorilla.
Sand beats gorilla. That's what we're going with.
And also, rock beats paper, David.
Ryan, it's a China show.
Yeah, hold on. Before we go any further.
No, it's a China show. What
that's fine. We'll China show in a second. No, right here. DirecTV ad is fine with me. We're plugging a program right now. If you have DirecTV, fuck them. Why are we locking in prices? Serious question. Just asking.
Well, maybe
your phone bill guaranteed price for 2 years, David.
Maybe there's going to be a tariff, Ryan, on the information.
A tariff, or are they implementing communism, David?
No, I don't think so. Well, I think they are, but I don't think that's why.
How is 2-year price lock not communism?
It's a marketing tool, Ryan.
It's not marketing.
It's literally marketing.
You're going to do that with me right now?
Yes, it's marketing.
And what is marketing, David?
Ryan, which one of the two of us are more likely to be marketing?
I am not marketable at all, David, especially in this economy.
Air conditioning.
Ryan, the whole point is to lock people in for long-term deals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could sign somebody up on a month-by-month contract.
Yeah, Netflix does that.
Sure.
Okay. And what happens when the price goes up?
If you're on a month-by-month?
Yeah.
The
people get mad.
Sure.
Well, people get mad. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to look. I get it's a marketing ploy to get people to buy, but you got to think: why are we advertising that we're locking in prices across the board at multiple spectrums? It doesn't not just work.
Well, it absolutely works. That's why they do
it. It does work, but what does that say about the political psychology of people that are utilizing those ads?
It says they like low prices.
I don't agree with that, David. I think they're trying to get you just used to shit being locked in on price, dude. It's just you're going to go in, milk will always be $5. This will always be, and they're going to price lock you out of everything in your fucking life.
No, here's part of why it's a marketing tool, Ryan, because everything in your life
it's 100% a marketing
more expensive.
David.
Everything gets more expensive.
Allegedly.
So this is like the one comforting thing, Ryan. Come with us for 2 years. You won't have to pay more. Your milk's going to go up. Your bread's going to go up. Your gas will be more expensive. Let me ask you this. Would you lock in if a gas station did a price lock on gas for 2 years? Would you lock in on that?
I don't know if there was a gas station that offered different prices that said better than price. Like, I don't know.
Delta
but they can't do that. It's not.
Delta Sonic comes out tomorrow and they say price lock. You sign up with our membership.
Dave, and you know that they can't do that.
You're going to pay. Sure, they could. You're going to pay $3.15 a gallon for gas for the next 2 years at Delta Sonic.
Then why don't? If they can do it, why don't they?
Volatility.
They will lose money. It's the market is too volatile to actually be able to lock in on a price.
It is in the example of gasoline, but just as an example, though, you would do it, right?
Of course, I'm going to do it.
Sure.
I'm telling you, David, that they're gearing you for price locking you out of life. That's all I'm telling you. Vacations are $100,000. Don't matter the vacation. If you want any vacation that you don't have $100,000, here's the VR headset for $5,000.
Part of the price lock works because of volatility of markets. Now, in theory, Ryan, now I know you're going to have some costs go up, but like internet, for example, what cost is going up with internet? What's the cost?
The cost of electricity. The cost of electricity. Like the cost of power generation.
Well, it's going to be overhead.
Yeah,
which I guess you could clump electricity in that if you want, but why would an internet provider ever have to raise their prices? Well, maybe they're paying their people more. Their taxes go up. Maybe they get there's a handful of costs that could be involved in this, but the guy who installs it, eventually he's going to want more money because other people are getting more money, and well, I'm doing something more difficult than these people. We talked about this before. There's two problems with raising minimum wage to some absurd number. One, the jobs that can't really support minimum wage pay if it goes up to $20 an hour, because that particular job just doesn't produce that much money. So you can't pay that person that much money. But then the people above them, you start giving the guy dropping the fries. We always go to the fast food analogy, but it makes the most sense. The guy dropping the fries starts to go $20 an hour. Well, now the manager that was making $25 an hour is like, dude, he's dropping fries and he's making basically the same as me. I want $35 an hour. Now you got to put that up. Now, what does McDonald's do? Well, they're going to have to raise prices because somebody's got to pay for the guy to make fries and to fucking manage the restaurant.
Or, David, they just buy a $35,000 robot and it's cheaper than your salary.
Hiking minimum wage, that's why tying minimum wage to inflation is the stupidest thing you could possibly do, because all it does is create more inflation. It's just a vicious cycle of prices going up.
They're going to bankrupt New York. New York plans to do that on the state's budget this year, David. They are going to bankrupt the state.
I'm telling you, come back to us 10 years from now if they keep that up. The prices in New York are going to be fucking outrageous.
I was told 5 years ago that a gallon of gas will be $15 in New York State within 10 years. Let's see.
China?
China, Ryan.
Ryan, 19. The only reason I'm bringing this up, I sent you the screenshot of this. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because Alex Jones broke this news on InfoWars. He was one of the only people I saw break this news early. There was a InfoWars article and a Stanford article, which is what it stems from. But InfoWars had it before Stanford, and Stanford's the one who broke, in theory, is where the news came from. So Alex Jones literally released the news before the news was released.
Are you telling me he went to the document cam before the document cam did?
And I say that because, Ryan, I sent you something Ben Shapiro said on social media, which was, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something like, why do people go to Alex Jones for news? There's so much corruption, there's no need to lie about it, or something along these lines.
I thought it was just Veep, dude.
So, I say that because this is the news that Alex Jones broke before it even broke. Bombshell report suggests Chinese spies infiltrated Stanford University. And I'm sure, just like there's only one island, Ryan, I'm sure this was the only university.
Yeah, it's probably only like 2 or 3 people, too. It wasn't like a widespread effort.
A bombshell report out of Stanford University shed light on the influence of spies from the Chinese Communist Party that the student newspaper says have likely infiltrated the prestigious institution and other universities nationwide to gather intelligence. The report, published by the Stanford Review, tells the story of a Stanford student working on sensitive research at the school and given the name Anna to protect her identity, receiving unexpected messages from a man with the alias Charles Chen asking about seemingly harmless topics like networking opportunities. The messages took a strange turn, according to the outlet, when Chen's questions became more personal, asking Anna if she spoke Mandarin, encouraging her to visit Beijing on a trip he would pay for, and referencing details she had never disclosed to him. Charles advised Anna on how to enter China briefly enough to avoid visa scrutiny from the authorities, told her to only communicate through the CCP-monitored WeChat, and told her to delete the screenshots. Under the guidance of experts familiar with espionage tactics, Ryan, people familiar with the matter, Anna contacted authorities. I'm curious. I don't know how much they're going to get into this article, Ryan, but why do you think the Chinese are going to infiltrate our universities, Ryan? It's certainly not for the information the universities have to offer.
Why would the communist Chinese infiltrate the universities, David?
Sure.
Well, some would argue, David, that education is one of the main pillars and blocks of civilization and our society, and if we do well or not. And university, you would think, is the highest level of that. Short of real world experience, I would wager is more important than universities. But yeah, David.
Well, absolutely. Which is, by the way, when people get fresh out of college, a lot of places still want job experience.
Yeah, nothing beats the real.
You went to college, but can you actually do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, espionage, they say it's espionage, right? I don't know what the definition legally of espionage is, but it's probably, foreign agents acting in this country trying to get information or some kind of resource utilization. They could be trying to steal shit at the school. This has kind of been going on. New York State and Kathy Hochul's office actually had a Chinese agent that was caught up in, like an aide or a handler or some kind of thing. And then there was also, I think this happened at another school, David, actually. But I don't know. It's obviously influence more than anything. They're probably trying to steal people, steal things, steal information. If this guy's giving this girl information about things they don't know, they could be, what is it, phishing, computer phishing, when they get in on the computer and they lock everything out and get all the information. And to be honest, most of the universities do all those studies that prove shit. So I don't know if China's just stealing all our shit to use it against us. Maybe they're trying to get ahead of like AI research. Or some medicine
for intellectual property.
I mean, anything.
Right? That's kind of like their whole thing.
I mean, there's a reason why it's made in China, right? But I don't know. I mean, this is obviously heavily coordinated, sophisticated, and paid for. If they're targeting people with information, like I know, there's people out there really good with laptops. I get that. One person could get a lot of information. I get that. But, this is probably sophisticated. I don't know if it's 117,000 pedophiles sophisticated, David, but it's probably pretty close.
I think without a doubt, though, it's obviously obvious. It's not a lone agent, right? It's not some random guy from China. Like, it's clearly.
Well, they didn't say that in the article, Dave. So how can we clearly know? You got to wait for the facts. Alleged lone wolf.
Their investigation revealed that Charles Chen had no affiliation with Stanford. Instead, he posed as a Stanford student for years, slightly altering his name and persona online, targeting multiple students, nearly all of them women, researching China-related topics. According to the experts on China who assisted Anna, Charles Chen was likely an agent of the Chinese Ministry of State Security, MSS, tasked with identifying sympathetic Stanford students and gathering intelligence.
Fox News, they're trying to sway them or something.
Yeah, but
make them hate the country, make them spread communism on campus. Like, are communists trying to do that still?
Yes, that's what would make the most sense to me personally. That's what would make the most sense. I don't think they need anything from these students. I mean, I don't think China needs any information from these students, college students. I mean, what fucking information do you really think they have to offer you? Anything they're worth is on their TikTok.
Or ChatGPT, David.
I think this would be more of an influencing game, not intelligence research, but I could be wrong.
Well, clearly, Dave, in the day and age of influencing, it's going to be pretty hard to sway people to embrace communism. Hey, look at this price lock over here. Price lock, David. We'll just price lock your car payment for you.
New deals dropped,
price lock your rent.
Here's when New Yorkers can expect to get their inflation refund check, Ryan. By the way, inflation's down. Fox News spoke to students involved in the article, explained that there are 3 major takeaways from the findings of the report. Number one, what we saw was a full apparatus.
Dude, rich people are going to get the money again. You're going to give people money. They're going to buy it from rich people. The rich people raise their prices because poor people just got money. So the rich people are going to still sell the shit they're going to sell regardless at a higher rate. And even if their taxes go up, it's going to go to poor people. That's going to go back to them anyways. That they don't even need to worry about because they have a fucking business, which is like unlimited banking.
You mean because the inflation check?
Yeah.
Well, what you just described, Brian, is why college is expensive. Just for the record.
Why everything's expensive. Like I thought.
But that's literally why that's why college is expensive, though. Because the government loans people a bunch of money. And the government and colleges realize, well, if I can charge this much and the government's going to give me a big check for it, why not charge more? Like, what's my cap? Like, when will they stop giving kids money? At what amount will they not give a child money?
Never, dude. They want to trap you in enslavement. Somebody's got to pay the banks to stay open till crypto comes and takes over and bankrupts all of us that aren't ready.
I mean, there are private.
David, how much?
There's private money that will give you. Well, no, there's private companies that'll give you loans for college. But here's the thing: like, 100%. It's not a real great idea for a private company to give you a loan for college because there's no what's in it for them, really. I mean, you got to remember that's how these banks are making money. So I give you money to go to school, you flunk out, I'm out of money. Like, there's nothing I get out of this deal. All I do is give it to you, and hopefully you'll pay it back. And if you don't, I can't do anything about it. What am I going to do? Repo your education?
Take your mind. Dave, how much shit at the store goes up because like it's a store card or something, and most of the people buy on credit, right? So like they just artificially raise the price because people buy it on credit anyway. So I mean, I know we mark up shit with capitalism anyways, but like how much of price is going up is just based on everybody buying shit on debt and not like with real money, like actual money out of their checking account. It's just on 25% interest forever.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that case.
Yeah, I sent you that picture of the payment plans on groceries. Yeah, kids, buy whatever you want. Whatever. I'll just have $50. I'll pay $50 a week on it forever. I gotta eat, right? You gotta eat, right, David?
Gotta eat. Well, people do it with houses, Ryan. People take payments on houses. It's a need. It's a need. You need a house. You need groceries. You need a car. You gotta take payments out on that. What if I price locked your groceries, Ryan? Can I lock you in for 2 years? You can only buy groceries from us.
No.
The prices won't go up. Price lock. What they are today is what they are 2 years from now.
No.
If you have our members card.
Dave, that works only under one situation. Like, actually works, because I understand economics, David. There ain't no way that all that shit costs the same amount to produce to get me there to even have the product. So what you're doing is just basically taking all the goods, adding them up, and dividing by the number of goods and saying that's the price of everything. Like the fucking dollar store did.
Here's how it truly works, okay? I'm price locking things that I'm selling today. But what if I started Ryan, maybe I start offering some other services and I know I can capture your business for the next 2 years. 2 years, you're in the store every week buying groceries. Do you think I can get your attention on something? I bet I can get you to buy some stuff. I can get you for sure. Oh, this is new. That's not price locked. I mean, it's a new product, Ryan.
Well, everything will be price locked, David, because everything will just go on a payment plan.
Well, but Ryan, I didn't sell this particular brand of cereal 2 years ago. So that price can be whatever. Well, I'm in the aisle. I know I got price locked Rice Krispies, but damn, look at these.
I see. They use the price lock to suggestively sell you to get to buy the big fish. Yeah,
you can do it. And meanwhile, you're building up a customer base that nobody can compete with.
Depends and they're paying off groceries. They're paying off groceries from 3 years ago that they ate fucking 3 years ago, and you still got them paying those groceries while buying new groceries for full price.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Nerd Novatech, welcome back. He's saying it depends on the demand. Sure. But I'm saying by price locking, you are artificially creating demand. You're creating demand for 2 years by price locking people.
Demand drives supply 100%. But that's why you can't price lock fucking anything.
No, like the idea of price lock. I'm changing my mind on this. You can make it work. You can make that business model work.
For profit, not actually like sustainability and good principle, David. Just because it's a good business model.
Yeah.
That's why they're price locked. This the whole point of the fucking shit at the top of the fucking article, David. They're programming you to accept you're just gonna work for free for nothing. What don't you get? They're making you a modern slave through reverse psychology and saying it's just payment plans. And then when everything's on a payment plan and debt, David, they're going to be like, you know what? None of it fucking matters. Just keep doing what you're doing. We're going to be like, okay, and we're going to be so fat and dumb, I can't even fight back.
Ryan,
God forbid I have money to have freedom and economic mobility,
David.
This is the new classism. New classism is people with and without payment plans. That will be the class. You either buy all your shit or you lease it. That's it. And the buy class is going to get smaller and smaller till it's just Bill Gates.
Right. My payment plan idea, in my particular example of the grocery store, that's I'm not locking you into payments.
Dave, we should open a grocery store and
we could do it. I could make that work. I'm convinced. I can.
We'll just flip people's grocery bill. We'll just flip people's grocery bill. And then you could even get dirty with it. We could like open up like a farm that slaughters cows. So like the price lock meat that I price locked you on, it actually cost me half of that. So now I'm making more money because.
Well, sure, yeah. All the things behind the scenes are what makes the price lock work. I'm constantly in the background finding ways to lower my prices. Meanwhile, I've locked you in.
I've locked you in. I locked you in here. You're like, dude, $5 for corn's pretty good. Meanwhile, I go from $4 to make the corn to 4 cents to make the corn. I'm still charging $5. You're like, this is a good deal still. I'm glad I locked in my price 5 years ago.
But really what you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate competition.
That's really what you're doing.
In essence.
You're just making a monopoly.
Now, certain, like Walmart,
a debt monopoly.
Walmart's locked in the demand. People know Walmart. There's no need for them to price lock. Everyday low prices, Ryan. They don't have to price lock.
Every day you just wake up, it's a new price, dude. New low price.
Well, it's a new low price though. Ryan, Chinese spies. We're not done yet. Number 1. What we saw was a full apparatus for extracting information, so they would hit the students they wanted. Then 2, they would administer loyalty tests. And 3, they would demand the information be sent back, one of the students said. In some cases, if the students refuse to provide information to the CCP, their parents are threatened back home and sometimes interrogated by police, according to the students who spoke to some Chinese international students. To be very clear, what they said is that every Chinese international student at any time can be asked by the CCP to disclose their research information. Whatever they're whatever they're looking for, they're pretty interested.
So they're saying, is that what the CCP was saying allegedly?
Well,
that
I think that's what the
students are saying any one of the Chinese students in the school that is like a foreign exchange from China could be compromised.
Yes. Well, they were trying to use them to compromise them. Yeah.
By threatening with their family.
By threatening their family. Like, this is pretty serious.
Dave, do you remember that thing you talked about? Like, you wouldn't kill a guy on the side of the street, and then you're like, if I kill your family or kill you, now
sure, like if you
kill the guy?
Yeah, right. Like, if you ask a stranger on the street to just go kill another stranger on the street, they would look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, get lost. Like, what is wrong with you? Get the fuck away from me. But if you try to coerce them with a little bit of money, if you had not a great person, they might do it for a little bit of money, right? But most people would still say, no, go pound salt. I don't know that guy. I'm not going to kill that guy for some money. Fuck off. But then they could sweeten the pot a little bit more, go kill that guy or I'm going to hurt you. Well, no, absolutely not. Get the fuck away from me. Well, I'm going to hurt your family. Okay, well, fuck, maybe. At some point, everyone has a limit. So, hey, do you speak Mandarin? Yeah. Want to gather some information for me from your university? No, fuck off. Do you want to? I'll hurt your parents if you don't. Okay, maybe I will.
Yeah, then you got to think too, once they're compromised, it's just going to be endless. It's going to get worse and worse. It's going to be dialed up, more intense.
Yeah, they're not going to stop. They don't want just one piece of information.
Yeah, they're not going to go software. Blow the school up, burn the school down.
What this looks like is potentially weekly calls with the Chinese ambassador back in China, where they will explain what research they're doing and if it's particularly sensitive technologies like AI and robotics. This is where the majority of the CCP is targeting is happening. They'll ask them to send back not just public information, they'll also send back internal lab reports, future directions of the research, recorded conversations with the professor, the methodologies, and the other participants in the research, particularly if they're Chinese international students, so they can look for other ones.
They're trying to steal the AI.
Well, yeah. The Stanford Review story points out that the House Select Committee on China sent a letter to Stanford last year warning of the risks of Chinese poses to STEM research. The article also explained how concerns about a Chinese spy presence in China have quietly persisted for years and claimed that several people who were contacted were too afraid to speak publicly.
Mind you, they're releasing this during the whole tariff talks. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, after the tariff deal with China?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't thus far what? Thus far, woke politics have deterred Stanford from speaking out. That's insane. It rebounds to Beijing's benefit. The CCP is one of the most racist political organizations in the world, and it hides behind the Chinese people as a shield, he continued. If Americans are afraid to call the party out, we implicitly advance the CCP's narrative. Therefore, there's no difference between the Chinese people and the CCP. Wow, isn't that a take? The college university is too worried about being called racist because of the exact culture that people in universities have created, ironically, that they can't even mention this, the fact that there's spies in their colleges, because it would be racist. Just like, and that's why, truthfully,
even though it's true,
that's why there was something great about Trump coming out and just being like, fuck you, it's the Kung flu, China virus. Like, it was just a complete game changer. Everyone was afraid to say it came from a lab in China until Trump came out and said, nope, China, Kung flu. Everyone was pretending they didn't know. Oh, it was just a bat.
China.
Which no. Everyone pretended that it didn't come from the lab that was named after the fucking virus.
Yeah, David, Alex always would get in pontifications about how the CCP runs all the media and props up this shit so that, because the Chinese play the long game and they know how our freedoms are.
That's crazy. That article is crazy. And it was on InfoWars, literally before Stanford said anything. Imagine that.
Alex not a trusted news source, though, David.
No, yeah, he's just pushing conspiracy theories, right? Hold on. I said it was a China show, Ryan. We're not done. China changes marriage rules amid efforts to boost birth rates, Ryan. You should like this one.
Oh, yeah? And what's that, David?
They're just trying to get some more
I thought
Chinese...
the world has too many people, David.
Well, can we talk about the fact... China does have too many people. Can we talk about the fact that very not long ago, they were slaughtering their own babies who were girls. And now they're like, holy shit, we don't have any new babies. Weird how that is.
Hey, we might run out of people here.
Weird how that works. Say what you want, Ron. Say what you want. I'm obviously pro-life, Ron. But what better way the people in the United States handled depopulating Earth than China? Can we just talk about that? They tried to make it sound like it was one of your rights. You want to talk about a marketing campaign? In China, they said, fuck you, we're killing the girls, we have too many kids. In America, they're like, no, this is one of your fundamental rights. No, just kill. Oh, you were knocked up because you weren't being... Yeah, just kill the baby. Fuck it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it. Way better marketing in the United States. You can tell which company is the capitalist country.
Dude, China didn't even give them a choice either.
They're like, nope, baby girl, dead.
Oh, vagina? Dead.
None of this. It didn't determine its gender yet. No, it's girl, dead. That was China's policy. Now they're like, holy shit, we don't have good birth rates. That's weird. China is easing restrictions on marriage registration as part of a broad campaign to address its shrinking population. New rules make it easier for couples to marry by reducing bureaucratic hurdles and expanding where registrations can take place, according to English-language state-owned newspaper China Daily. Look at all this. They're getting ready for the bathtub as we speak, Ryan. The new rules reflect Beijing's urgency in combating a demographic crisis. In 2024, China's population fell for a third consecutive year, and fewer than 6.1 million couples registered their marriages, down from 7.68 million in 2023. It comes after the national political advisor Chen Songjai recommended lowering the legal age for marriage to 18 to boost fertility chances in February. The legal age for marriage in China is 22 for men and 20 for women. Well, that's kind of weird. New marriage rules came into effect on Saturday, eliminating the requirement for household registration books and allow couples to register in locations other than permanent residences. The change is particularly relevant in a society where over 490 million people live away from their registered hometowns as of 2020, according to National Census. The process now takes around 10 minutes, China Daily reports, and includes checking ID cards in photos of newlyweds, guiding them through filling out forms. So a couple ID cards and a picture of you guys getting married, and it's 10 minutes. That's pretty wild. A registrar at a new office in Beijing told China Daily previously the newlyweds needed to go to the places of their households for registration to take out the Hokao booklets for marriage registration. From now on, they just need to show their IDs. International experience suggests that more comprehensive policies tend to be more effective. For example, France successfully increased its fertility rate from 1.64 in 1993 to 1.8 to 1.9 between the 90s and 2010s, while Denmark saw a rise from 1.38 to 1.8 over the same period.
That's the millennial generation, though. We're the largest generation. So in America, I wonder if that stems across
globally
there. Yeah. Fairness meter, David.
Oh, a fairness meter. Oh, you click it to rate the article. Do you think this article is fair? Unfair right-leaning? Mostly fair right-leaning. Mostly fair left-leaning. You know what, actually? I think that was a fair article. You know what, Newsweek? I'll play your game. Fair. That was a fair article.
Fair.
That's fair. That was well done. Center and
fair.
Oh, center and fair. Center is the only way it's fair, Ryan. It can't be too left, too right.
Now, if they said in there, yo, China fucked up, I'd be like, all right, that's conservative. Yeah, imagine murdering your own population, and you're like, man, we don't have enough people anymore.
Well, that's essentially, that's essentially what they did. Ryan, let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's play this game. Let's play this game, Ryan.
Is it fair, David?
It'll Mostly be a fair game. It'll be a fair game. I saw this clip, and this is worth talking about. It's fair. Dating is the average.
I love this guy.
You're a fan?
Scott Calloway, yeah.
A man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get one coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online, they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault. And these men become much more prone to misogynistic content, much more prone to nationalistic content, blaming other people for the lack of economic opportunity. They start sequestering from society. I worry that we are literally evolving a new species of asexual, asocial male. And if a man by the age of 30 hasn't either lived with someone or married someone, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to have a substance abuse problem.
Wow.
In addition, it goes so much deeper than that. 75% of people who've been married longer than 30 years say in the beginning, one was much more interested in the other. And it was almost always the man. Women are much choosier. The basis of evolution is seed trying to get everywhere, men, and women deploying a much finer filter to select the strongest, smartest, and fastest speed. So men need an environment to demonstrate excellence. Where do men demonstrate excellence? When they're not going to college, they're not going into an office because of remote work. They're not going to church, they're not going to temple. Where does a woman have the opportunity to fall in love other than these baseline metrics? And you were talking about women say, you've seen these TikToks, over $100,000 and over 6 feet. That's 2.2% of the male population. So where do they?
Is that it?
Yeah. And
God
hold on. That's not fit or dress well or
That's
smell.
just happen to
or
be
drive
tall
a nice car
and have a above average
and
job.
height, dude. Income and height.
Hold on.
That's not loves his mom, has hobbies. Seriously, think about that.
Hold on.
Think about that.
That just fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, I got top two.
I'm above. I mean, income's close, but
I'll give you close enough on the height too. Seriously though. In all seriousness, I just like fucking with you. In all seriousness, 2.2% is fucking wild. Honestly, I would
10 times that number, like 20%. Yeah, dude, and it also makes you think, women also say big dick. How many guys have a big dick? Not every guy has a big dick.
I guess you're probably
think about it.
Statistically higher if you're over 6 feet though, right?
What, to have a huger cock?
It's just context, it's all relative.
Well, maybe it's just proportion, David. So for my size, my dick's actually bigger,
Sure,
like if I was taller, my dick would just be
right. This checks out.
Fucking Pringle can dick. Like, dude, put it away. What are you doing with that? Fucking forearm for a cock.
It has to be proportional, I would imagine. Like Shaq ain't no 6-incher. Like, come on, let's be real here.
He's so funny, dude.
If it was, that'd be like his hand would just annihilate it. This fucking thing's huge.
Kanye and his big dick, fucking his cousin.
In all seriousness, though, 2.2% is way lower than I would have expected.
Yeah, and what? Like most women want that.
I think
it's just not happening.
Truthfully, though, I think the average woman is perfectly fine with a guy who is under 6 foot. I don't think that's a game changer or a deal breaker. If you're 5'10",
settling
like nobody,
right? But the income thing is, you could highlight that.
Income's way more important than the height.
Yeah. So if I make less than 100 and you don't want me and you choose me, are you settling then? And then you're going to be resentful of me for settling?
Well, okay, but what does that say about the woman who has to settle?
Well,
it's a two-way street. If you're settling,
alleged settling.
Could you not get the 6'5" guy with the fucking 11-inch dong? I'm just saying.
Dude,
how come he didn't want you?
The thing is,
we're both settling here, lady.
There's way more hot chicks than there is dudes that make 6 figures. So eventually, you're either all fucking the same guy, which is just not gonna. You can't all get flown out, but like, it's just arithmetic, boys. Keep swinging. Just keep swinging. That's hilarious. 2% of men, David.
Dude, that's crazy, though.
Fall in love. Where can a man demonstrate excellence? It used to be go to temple, 7 single women, 7 single men, and they kind of carried off and worked it out. And online dating, similar to online e-commerce, online rentals, it's created a winner take most, if not all, environment. It's basically been amazing for attractive guys, wealthy guys, tall, wealthy guys. It's been amazing for them. For all the other guys, it's been a disaster, and it's made it mildly shittier for every woman. The digitization of mating, I believe, has been a disaster It's been bad for women. It's been disastrous for men.
So if you were to do
I agree 100%.
If you were to do a dating 100%. Profile, then you'd be better off saying
lying.
Well, no, I'm saying if it's the truth, put a picture of yourself up, right? If you're in that 2.2%, put a picture of yourself up, say 6'6", 120K a year, and that's it. That's it. 2.2%.
That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, and then just
2.2%. Good luck. You're gonna swipe
this
for
right
a while.
Here. Boop. 100 grand, 6 feet tall.
That's an approach. That's an approach for sure. Fuck you. Keep swiping because you ain't gonna find me again for a while. 2.2%.
Well, David, I don't know if you know how dating apps work. The hottest guys are the first guys that pop up on the algorithm. The most swiped men come up first in the queue. Because you swipe based on your distance. It's like a circle, right? And you can change how big that circle is. But you can swipe yes or no as long as you have unlimited swipes, David. Or you just swipe no and only swipe on, enough. Anyways, the point is you can run out of people on the dating app in your vicinity.
I can truthfully tell you I've never personally
get the most swipes.
I've never personally
the people that get the most swipes. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I personally I've never been on a dating app. I've never had like a profile or anything on any of them. But I've had a lot of friends who've had dating apps, and I've watched them sit there and like scroll and scroll and scroll. And the thing that's interesting to me, and I'm not being a dick, okay?
Just devalue people.
Well, a little, yeah, sure, for sure. There's some of that, but the thing that's interesting to me is it's like you're a guy who's on a dating app, okay? And in most cases, and I know some people use them just to have one night stands. That's fine, whatever. I get it. But like in most cases, the person's like looking for a mate, right? So
yeah,
you can't find a mate in real life. But then I watch you sit there and swipe like, nope, too fat. No, don't like her. No, her eyebrows are bad. No.
The guy will be at work with 5 women, right? And he won't hit on any of them and try to date them.
Dude, I'm watching you as a man who can't find a girlfriend in real life swipe past people and judge them because they're too fat for you. My friend, you got to work on yourself. I'm just saying. I'm not being a dick. But if you're going to have high standards, you got to be somebody worth, going for. Otherwise, learn to settle.
Juice has got to be worth the squeeze, right?
That's an interesting video.
He also has a video. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh, he has a video that promotes young men to actually go out.
Well, they
to offset this advice of dating, right? But he actually he goes further. He says young people should be broke. He says go out, fucking. If you only have $20, instead of investing it in the fucking stock market, go out, go to a bar, play darts with a stranger, talk to a girl, meet a new guy, make a new friend, go have an experience. He's like, because you'll get far more return on your investment of $20 or $50. As far as an experience, you'll feel more engaged in the world. You'll have a new hobby. You'll go do something. He also doesn't, encourage you to work hard, make a good income, be a good provider. Scott Calloway, he's been on Modern Wisdom is where I heard him first.
I've heard,
I also
people say similar things, just like as financial advice. Like you're better off if you have that low of money, you're better. Like your $20 investment into any crypto or any stock is going to be like it's nothing. Okay. Your $20 investment isn't shit. You get 5% return a year on average or whatever. Who cares? That's it's irrelevant. But that $20 going to the bar and networking is going to get you way farther. I've heard that as actual financial advice too. Not even to mention what it does for your psyche.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody's stuck. I mean, more importantly, that's the thing I noticed. Like, when you stay in a lot, dude, we're social creatures, and people think that I think I can do everything alone too. But, most of the greatest shit I ever did was with people. I mean, some of the greatest moments of my life are like work events. You know what I mean? Like doing things with really hard tasks with other guys, and like building something cool. And like, I can't build shit alone. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, so yeah, Scott Calloway fucking crushes it, dude. He does have. I think there is like some of the advice. I can't come up with it right off the top of my head. There is stuff he has said that I'm like, squirrely on, which is cool. It's nice that like there's a guy in the space that kind of like, there's things that I disagree with. I don't like, I'm not trying to be I know you as well, Dave. We're not just trying to be copy paste of people, but it's cool to see a guy like Chris Williamson have these people on and they start blowing up. Scott had a following before Chris had him on, but I'm just loving the space growing here. And like, I think he's important. He's helped me,
Yeah. And that's, yeah, I don't mind. Like if there's somebody who legitimately gives good advice 90% of the time, and you can tell he actually cares, I'm fine with disagreeing with that person 10% of the time. Honestly, I'm fine disagreeing with that person 30% of the time. If I think somebody truly has their heart in the right place, I could even go 50-50. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind yeah, we could be a little squirrely on some things. That's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. Me and Ryan don't agree on everything.
Yeah, particularly about no, his story. He was like a Goldman Sachs dude, and he hated his job, and he left, and he met his wife. They have a couple kids. So like, this is a married, wealthy man with boys. So he's probably telling his son the same shit. Like, probably should listen to the guy.
What's his name one more time? Scott Calloway?
Scott Calloway. Yeah.
Scott Calloway.
Calloway. Calloway. Calloway.
Let's do this.
Right? Am I right? Am I wrong?
I can pull him up, sure.
Did the photographic memory photograph David?
Scott Calloway.
Scott David.
Calloway? Wait, is it Calloway or Galloway?
All my blacks, Nazis.
Scott Calloway.
Calloway.
Yeah, that's right. Calloway. That's right, Ryan.
Photographic memory. I'm just gonna keep flexing on this program and watch my bicep get bigger every week, David.
This is a clip that I found really interesting, and then we can get out of here. But this is Tim Pool, in my opinion, absolutely fucking.
Is this the Rogan clip?
No, but I did see that too.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand
the Maryland Man one.
We'll talk after. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't understand. We'll talk after.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
I'll be with you on that. I didn't really understand the point of posting that one either, because it was like the whole clip was like, oh, Joe Rogan fell for the Maryland Man thing, but the whole time he's like, yeah, I thought he was from Maryland, and then I did more research. It's like, well, it doesn't sound like he fell for it. It sounded like initially he read a headline that said he was a Maryland man, and then he followed up and did more research. Like, I didn't think that was a big deal. But this is Tim Pool, and this is fucking really well done, to be honest with you. He walks her right into a fucking beautiful trap here. This is fucking outstanding.
Does he?
Yeah, this is fucking great.
All right, so who is this?
If a judge were to say a fair trial would not be possible, so we're going to do it here anyway, would you find that acceptable in terms of how our system is supposed to work?
No, but I've never heard a judge say that.
So
a judge, I've never heard a judge say, and by the way, I'm having a little difficulty here because I think now it's a little too loud, and I don't know if I'm talking weird because I'm...
No, you're fine.
I've never heard a judge say, I admit you couldn't get a fair trial here, but we're going ahead with the trial anyway. And I don't agree with every judge, but that's just something.
And what do you think would be like? Let's say that hypothetically happened, and there was someone who was being charged with a crime, and the judge said
hypotheticals
for a change of venue, and the judge says there's nowhere you can go that will free you from the bias of this place, so we're doing it here anyway.
I don't think that would be right, and somebody would be petitioning somebody. I mean, even in those cases, there is such a thing as judicial prejudice. Somebody would be arguing that there was judicial prejudice, and the case would not stop there.
What if the case did stop there, and the man
if the case did stop there, I'd be the first to say this is wrong.
So will you stand up in defense of Derek Chauvin?
Wow.
Derek Chauvin,
I understand.
change
Derek
of venue,
Chauvin. Are you
and the judge said there's no venue you can go to where you'll be free of any bias, so we do it here anyway. So is the issue?
Wasn't there some legitimacy to that, given the fact that everybody saw the video? Everybody saw the video, so how could there be lack of prejudice anywhere?
Right.
So are you saying?
So the question is about the Constitution and what is fair in the court of law, and not what we want to have happened because of our feelings.
I don't think.
If the judge says there will be no fair trial for you, my argument is then there's no trial at all, and the man should be released because of the implementation of our democratic system.
That's what your argument would be?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you and I totally disagree on that one.
If a court cannot grant a fair trial under the Constitution, then the court cannot imprison a person.
Yeah, well, you and I don't agree on that one.
So you think
we all have a right?
People should the state should be allowed to imprison people even without due process.
I think that that was an overriding circumstance of the fact that the judge was correct. There were very few people in the United States who had not seen the video. That's all the judge was saying. The judge was saying, we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best in the way we interrogate people to make sure that they will be as non-prejudiced as possible. But the judge was admitting there's no location where it's going to be any different.
He literally walked her into two separate traps there.
In all criminal prosecutions, David, this is Article 6 of the Constitution Bill of Rights. The accused shall enjoy a right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district where the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously asserted by law, and be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, and to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, which he also wouldn't have, right?
Right.
And to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. No person, Article 5, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on the presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in a case arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice double jeopardy, or in life of limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Article 9, David, it's right in here. It's my favorite one. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. You're not allowed to alter them.
Interesting, right?
Or to the people, David. Retained by the people, not the government. That's weird. None of this actually says the government.
It would never. Trump absolutely will not do this. But there is a really strong case to pardon Derek Chauvin. I don't think Trump would do it because
it's the guy that
George Floyd.
Hold on. George Floyd, he kneeled on his neck.
Yes. So yeah, I mean
but the guy died because he was actually on fentanyl and he was having a heart attack.
He had a lethal amount
and
of
they
fentanyl.
Proved that.
That is correct. Yeah,
they proved that with his biopsy.
It was
the medical coordinator did it under the court of law too, right, David? That he had enough fentanyl in his system in him to kill him.
He had a lethal amount of fentanyl.
That was provided up.
Derek Chauvin used an approved and trained method of restraint, and he died. So, like, what's the argument? 1, 2, as Tim Pool points out, there ain't no way that was a fair trial.
Yeah, to go further, unjust law is not a law. They're trying to hold them to laws. Yeah, that's. Hat off to Tim Pool, beanie off to Tim Pool.
Yeah, for sure. Hat on to Tim Pool. And then he goes further because not only did he walk her into that trap, he walks her further into the due process trap. When we're talking about sending all these people to El Salvador, he goes, "So you'd be fine with sending people to prison without due process?" Interesting. That's fascinating because you're all upset with Trump about that because he's sending illegal immigrants to El Salvador prisons.
People that don't have constitutional rights, David, I'll fight and die on this.
I'm with you. I'll die on that hill too. The Constitution of the United States applies to the constituents, Ryan, the citizens of the United States. So you want our
you mean
rights?
The people that pay taxes, David?
Well, you want our rights, then come be a legal citizen. That's fine. But you don't become protected by our country's document because you stepped over the line. That's not how that works. I would die on that hill. I don't care.
We're certainly kings and queens, David. We are the kings and queens of this country. Look, people don't know the reason you're allowed to own firearms is in common law, British Commonwealth law, that the Constitution was loosely written under until they established it. They basically made a new fucking type of laws, David. But only kings and queens or nobility could have firearms in England. So when they guaranteed us the rights to own firearms during a time in history when only royalty were allowed to own firearms. By default, they armed us because we are royalty. We are kings and queens of America. This is our country, the whole nine. That's the whole idea of it. It's symbolic. We didn't found the country and all that, but we maintain it. Dave, you fucking keep it going. I literally build the fucking thing. Like, you don't come to this country and get my benefits. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I think I earned them a little more than you. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to treat you any different. My family were immigrants too. And you know what they did, David? They went to work. And I know these people go to work, but
you know what, Ryan? Let's take it further. Take it further, okay? If you're 6 foot tall and make over $100,000 a year, you're in the 0.02% of the world. You're elite status in America, let alone what you are globally.
Yeah, you're talking about the kings and queens thing? Yeah. Yeah, you literally, dude, most people in human history, there's been, what did I look up the one time? I know I told you, it's like 100 billion to 150 billion people in the history of humanity, we guess.
Yeah.
So out of 100 billion, 100 billion.
All time.
Of all time, only us do we have cars, and we all have clothes. We all have food. We all have fucking hardwood. Like, you have flooring in your house that was only exclusive for nobility. For all of human history to like
plumbing,
100 years ago.
Water.
Plumbing, electricity, running water, a fucking toothbrush, a bank account. Dude, you have a phone. More people have phones than fucking water. 2 out of 3 poor people have at least, or 80% of poor people, like under the poverty level, have 2 digital devices or more, or something like an Xbox and a fucking phone. Like, our poor people have more shit than the kings and queens. They're not living in palaces, obviously, but like, isn't it a palace if it's heated and cooled, David? Fucking Rome didn't have HVAC. You know what I mean? They didn't have fucking air conditioning.
Personally, as a king, I would have traded a whole castle for a place that was climate controlled.
Yeah, I would trade millions of acres for one box fan. That's what I'll go back in time. I'll trade all of Rome for a fan, David. I will be the greatest emperor of all time. And I will still be there saying, watch Dave Ryan, December 17th, 73 on Rubble for the greatest podcast in human history. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Later. Enjoy your